Hi again. Alright, this is part 2. Hopefully not a part 3, but this is part 2. Okay, so back to where I was. I was in triage at this point, and they put you on monitors. I'm sorry, I'm starting to get really tired. It's almost 11 o'clock here at night, and yeah, I'm getting tired. Anywho, I'm gonna try and I feel like I feel weird. I feel like I need to move around. I'm used to in videos, but I kind of got to stay still so the monitor doesn't, or the webcam doesn't make me so laggy that it is annoying. Anyways, I'm in triage at this point. They're just monitoring me. I'm effacing really fast. I think they checked me again. I can't remember around when. I think it was around 6 or 7 o'clock, and I was still 3 centimeters dilated, and then I was like 80% effaced. So I was still progressing. I was effacing, like I said, really fast. And then they were going to send me home, which I wasn't really happy with because honestly, like I said, I don't think I really would have lasted too much longer before I actually had him anyways. So I started nipple stimulation, and it worked because I started getting contractions like really tough, together, hard, long contractions, and they did something because I think she checked me at, what was it, like, I think it was around 8 or so, and I was 4 centimeters dilated, and I think still around 80% effaced. So she went ahead and she said, okay, well, we're going to admit you to the hospital. And so she admitted me. I went to my room. They hooked me up on an IV, and they got me started on all that stuff. Got me started to get me hydrated. Yeah, I know, bad again. So, anyways, she went over stuff. She had me look at vaccinations after I had him. She had me sign papers. She kind of asked me if there was any special things I wanted to do, and I said, you know, I'm up for an epidural if I need one. I definitely want to deliver vaginally if possible, and I'm sure that shouldn't be a problem. And I want skin to skin. You know, when I have him, I really would like to do that. She's like, okay, as long as he's healthy, there's nothing wrong with that. So we went through all the paperwork and all the stuff, and she went out of the room. She came back later to check me to make sure everything was going okay. This was around, I want to say 11 o'clock, but no, wait. I think around 11 o'clock, and I went from a 4 back down to a 3. So at this point, I wanted to rip my hair out. I was very frustrated. They were getting ready to send me home, and I'm like, you know what? I live in Carson. I really don't think that I'm going to last much longer. I might have to come back here, and I'll be in the same position. So she's like, okay, well, you know, just stimulate your nipples, see what happens. We'll go from there. I'll come back and check you around 2 in the morning. So she gave me quite a bit of time to kind of try and get things going again, because she didn't think I was going to last much longer either. But, you know, if you're not in active labor, they're sending you home. So, anyways, she checked me again around 2. I was seriously a little bit below a 4. But she's like, okay, well, I'm going to say you're a 4. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. She's like, I don't know if the doctor is going to want to break your water, but we'll talk to her, see what she wants to do. If because normally they don't want to medically intervene. But she's like, let's see how dilated you are. She's in a C-section right now. She won't be done for a little bit. So I kept on doing nipple stimulation that whole night because obviously I was dilating, going back down, and then dilating up again. So I kept it going, and the doctor came in around, I think it was like 6 in the morning, and she was going to break my water if I progressed. So she checked me. I had dilated from a 3 to a 4 to a 5. So I was definitely in active labor. She went ahead and she's like, okay, well, we're going to break your water, which is a crazy experience. She went ahead and broke it, and it felt like a tidal wave of warm fluid just gushing out. It was so much fluid. It was crazy. And I was sitting there apologizing for all the fluid. And so I got my water broken. I told the nurse I wanted to hold off as much as I could on. Oh, it's getting laggy again. I'm sorry. Hold on for a second. Okay. Sometimes I just have to stop if it gets really laggy and kind of chill out for a second so it can catch up. Anyways, okay. So, she asked me about the epidural, and I said, I want one definitely, but I don't want one right away because I don't want to be stuck in the bed forever. So I told her I want to kind of hold off on that. So I got up and I would, I went to the bathroom quite a bit. I would walk around. I walked around the hospital a little bit. And then finally, the contractions started getting kind of a little painful. And I'm like, okay, well, I think it's epidural time, because I knew it was going to take a while for the guy doing the epidural to make it. So I went ahead, I signed the papers, and I think he gave me the epidural, I think it was around 8 or 9 in the morning. And I am definitely scared of needles, so I was definitely kind of, the tiredness kind of helped me through this, ladies. I'm telling you, it helped a lot because I was definitely did better with the IV in my hand and the epidural than I thought. But anyways, the epidural guy came in, the anesthesiologist, I should say, and he had my husband in front of me. He told me how he wanted me to sit. My husband was so tired. He's like, okay, I got to sit down. I feel like I'm going to pass out. And the nurse is like, yeah, you go sit down. I will help her out from here. So he sat down. She got in front of me. The epidural went really smoothly. It took on well. It was such an odd sensation, though, I'll tell you, because I couldn't feel anything from like my hips down, a little bit above my hips, around my belly and stuff, and obviously part of my back. I couldn't feel anything. And my leg kept on falling off the side of the bed. And I'm like, is my leg off the bed again? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, can you put it up for me, please? Because I really can't move it. It was so weird, but it definitely helped. So anyways, then they did shift change and everything around 7. I got my new nurse. I met her, got the epidural, and they checked me again. Oh, God, I can't remember what time. But they checked me again, and I kind of stalled out at a 5. So what they did is they went ahead and they gave me Pitocin, and they started me on that, and which that really progressed. I started having a lot of contractions. They would have me move from my left to my right. They went ahead and they put a catheter in around a little bit after I got my epidural. The nurse had her, and there was a trainee, in which they were both really nice. So she had the trainee put a catheter in me, and she did a good job. I couldn't feel anything, so obviously it worked because I was going. I don't know how else to put it, but yeah, I was going. So they put the catheter in, which was really weird, but it's standard. They have you do that during labor. And then I got checked again. I can't remember what time it was, but I was 6 centimeters dilated and like 100% ephased. So I was pretty much done effacing. I still had to dilate more. They still had me moving from side to side. At one point, though, they came in. Oh, I'm sorry. My eye itch. They came in, and his heart rate was dropping a little bit, so they had me stay on my left side because he wasn't doing as good on my right. And she said, you know, I think the cord is wrapped around his neck. I'm like, oh, that's great. So they had me stay on my left side, and yeah, so I stayed there, which was okay with me because I did better on my left. I felt more comfortable on my left. But the doctor came in, and she didn't feel like the monitors were doing a good enough job. So she actually did an internal monitor, and he was doing much better on that. But the whole time I was having double contractions. So she said that was normal with his face. She thought his head was facing downward instead of upward towards your, say he's coming out, they want the head like upward like this. She said his head was downward, and that's why I was having these double contractions. So I kept on having double contractions. I think she checked me again around, I think it was like 12:30-ish, and I was like 10 centimeters at this point, and she's like, all right, well, we're ready to push, and I'm like, oh my god. So it went incredibly fast, and she started having me push. They brought a cart in to get me ready, and I started pushing, and I was a hell of a pusher. She's like, if you keep on pushing like this, you're gonna meet your little one in no time at all. So I was getting so excited. I was really tired, but I was going to give it hell. I was going to give it all I had because I wanted to have him so bad. So finally, around, I think the doctor came in around, I don't know, almost 1. And it was a guy doctor, and they started getting ready. But the girl doctor that gave me the ultrasound at my appointment and everything, she was there too. I had a nurse intern, and I had a male doctor that delivered babies over like 36 weeks, never as early as 36 weeks. So she was kind of there to help him. Anyways, I started pushing, and I was pushing so good. I pushed hard, and they would have me push really hard. I held it till 10, and then they would have me take a little break, and then they'd literally have me pushing again. So I was pushing so hard, and they were so He kept on going out though and coming back in, going out, coming back in. I'm like, oh my God. So finally, I started pushing really hard, and he was born at 1:37 p.m. 6 pounds, 5 ounces, 19 and a half inches. They put him on my belly. He didn't cry at first, which kind of scared me, but finally I heard him cry, and it is the best sound in the world. I was so deeply in love with him. I started crying. It was a wonderful experience, and all the nurses and doctors were like, "You did such a great job." And so they had him in the incubator. I had first and second degree tears, so they were sewing me up with a fish hook, is what it looked like. But I was so just euphoric that I didn't even pay attention to what they were doing. And so, yeah, that was my labor and delivery, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry that this video was a little laggy, but yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll make more videos. And thank you so much for being there my whole pregnancy. Bye, everybody.